Hi friends, I'm Michelle Terpstra from Tool Farm, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to today's webinar, Creative Workflows in V-Ray for SketchUp. Render, Animate, Envision. If you're new to Tool Farm, we're your go-to source for professional software and plugins for video editing, visual effects, 3D, motion graphics, and beyond. We're also known for our legendary customer support, so if you ever need help, we've got your back. Today's session is all about V-Ray for SketchUp, one of the most powerful tools for architectural visualization and creative rendering. SketchUp itself is available at Tool Farm as a subscription and comes in a few flavors: SketchUp Pro, SketchUp Studio, and the newest, SketchUp Go. As for Chaos, they're the global leader in photorealistic rendering and real-time visualization. If you've ever seen beautiful architectural renderings or cinematic quality 3D imagery, odds are Chaos had a hand in it. We're thrilled to welcome today's presenter, Yane Markulev, a 3D artist for the Chaos team in Sofia, Bulgaria. Yane started his creative journey back in the late 90s using CAD software. He went on to study architecture, earned his master's degree in 2010, and worked at a UK-based architectural visualization studio. Over the years, he created content for world-class architects like Zaha Hadid and Norman Foster, as well as major brands like Land Rover, Honda, and Rivian, and now for Chaos. If you have questions during the presentation, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll have a live Q&A at the end, so stick around. We would love to hear from you. All right, let's get into it. Yane Markulev, thank you so much for being here. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for the nice introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Yane. Nice to meet you. As you've heard, I'm a 3D artist at Chaos, and as a 3D artist in Chaos, the 3D artist team, we do all the nice marketing images, tutorials, webinars like this. But before that, I graduated architecture some 15 years ago, and I've been deeply immersed in architectural visualization ever since. So V-Ray has been my go-to tool through my studies and professional career. It's unmatched in its ability to deliver stunning magazine-worthy and broadcast quality visuals. Over the years, I've visualized everything from small products and automotive renderings and interiors to residential and office buildings, even entire neighborhoods, and large-scale urban plans for the United Arab Emirates, for example. And even we once did this flight through the whole planet for the London Olympics. And V-Ray handles this without hesitation. It can handle huge amounts of data with precision and beauty. Now alongside V-Ray, we also have Envision, which is a powerful real-time rendering tool. And in this pre-recorded session, I'll show you how to transform static SketchUp scenes into dynamic story-driven animations in no time. And afterwards, we'll jump into a live Q&A to cover any questions you might have. So let's dive in and bring these ideas to life.
Today we're going to explore how V-Ray can help you create, shape, and present your project. We'll go through the process of lighting, shading, and populating your project, rendering it with V-Ray, further improving your image, and finally rendering an animation in Envision. I have pre-recorded some of the stages in order to have a smoother and quicker turnover, but you can drop your questions in the chat anytime and I'll go through them live in the Q&A at the end of the webinar. So let's dive in. We have a few new toolbars that have appeared immediately after installing V-Ray. I'll order them over here and I'll go through most important buttons. As you can see, there are quite a lot of them, but we'll go through the most important ones. The first one is the V-Ray Asset Editor. As you can see, it's divided into tabs. The first one is for the materials in our scene. In this case, we only have the materials of our guy TomTom there. And if we click and edit it in V-Ray, we can edit some of its main properties like reflection or refraction. And if we increase the refraction, we'll achieve a glass-like material. There are other important properties like bump and self-illumination, but we won't go through them all. Next, we have the Lights tab. As you can see, once we select a tab, it becomes blue. Here currently we have the sun system, which is the same as the SketchUp sun, and we can adjust the custom orientation of it. And next we have the Geometry tab and the Material, the Render Elements tab, as well as a Texture tab. Currently we have the Environment Sky texture in it, and it is connected to the sun system. Here we can turn on the clouds if we want to. The final tab is with the cogwheel is the Render Settings tab, where we can switch between CPU or GPU rendering, or we can easily adjust the render setting with this quality slider. Also, we can add a denoiser, like NVIDIA AI denoiser, and tell it how often it should update. Most of the settings I prefer to leave to auto. For example, also exposure. We have auto exposure for the camera and auto white balance, just like in real cameras, or we can adjust them manually. In the render output, we can adjust how big we want our rendered image to appear in the end. The second button is the Chaos Cosmos browser, where we have thousands and thousands of assets, ready assets to be used. We have 3D models or materials and other assets that we can use. If we press the render button, we'll see the rendering appear in the frame buffer, where we have also control on some color corrections like exposure or color balance. And we can play with post-production here once the rendering is done or even while rendering. Then we have the cloud rendering, batch rendering, the frame buffer, to call it back. We have different geometry helpers like scatter. The light gen button is a really useful one. We can easily generate a few variants of our scene lighting, preview them, and decide on which one to use. Or we can add artificial lights in our scene, like the V-Ray light, V-Ray rectangle light, dome light, sphere lights, etc. Finally, we have some V-Ray widgets that help us organize our scene. We can remove materials or add different map texturing. In this case, I'll use the button to remove TomTom's materials, just to show how these work. Finally, I'll make visible the Chaos Vantage button, which starts Chaos Vantage live link if we have Vantage available. Now let's switch to our project. I have chosen a nice little desert house model, which will start from just from the architecture done and a simple terrain around it. I'll start the V-Ray frame buffer and let's see how this looks like in the by rendering it in interactive mode. We can rotate the view and see how our house looks like. In this case, it's a little burnt. So the first thing I'll do is add filmic tone map, which will calm down the highlights and make the image a little more bearable while trying to find a nice composition to best showcase our house. Once I choose a nice viewpoint, I can save this in the scenes, and yeah, let's rename it. I'll call this front camera, so we have it saved here, and that will be our camera. This is the first thing usually I do in a project, choose a nice composition. The next thing is to choose nice lighting for this composition. In this case, now we have just the sunlight. I'll switch to custom orientation to which is more intuitive in my opinion, to adjust sunlight from the asset editor instead of using the SketchUp shadows tray. And here I can play around with horizontal and vertical orientation and see how it updates in the interactive render until I get some angle that I like, which shows the project in a best way, like showing the volumes the right way and having a nice aspect between shadow and light. The size multiplier is an interesting multiplier. As you can see, it makes the shadows softer. If I turn it up real high, I will get the feeling of a small scale model, like artificial lighting, but I'll put it back down to 5. And finally, I'll turn on the clouds as well to get more light, more life in our image. Cirrus amount is the cirrus cloud amount. I'll turn it up and lower the thickness of the clouds to get more of a desert-like clouding cover. I think I'm happy how our composition and lighting looks like. We have nice aspects, and we can continue shading the scene. I'll create a generic material for the glass. I don't need to put bitmap in the diffuse, but I'll turn on the reflection and the refraction. And basically, these are the properties for a glass material. Really, with two properties, we can achieve a nice glass material. And I'll apply it to the glass object in the elevation. As you can see, it appeared. I turned these panels transparent, but I think I would prefer to check the Cosmos asset library for clear glass material. Basically, has the same properties, maybe some fog added to it, but I'll just use the Cosmos material as it's quite easy. I'll delete the generic material I just created by purging the scene because it's an unused material. And we'll continue searching for some more architectural materials like concrete and metals, different metals, and different wall materials that would be useful for our scene. Let's not forget sand and gravel for our environment. I'll quickly apply those to the objects I have decided to apply them to. And if we look at the concrete, we can see that tiling is quite dense. This is the diffuse map, but actually in the Cosmos material we have the lowest texture we see is controlling the whole material repetition. Here we can lower the repetition of the concrete in it, and all the textures that use it will have nice texture mapping. I'll do the same for the concrete of the boarded concrete that we're using. And also I want to make it a little bit lighter, like whitish. In order to do that, I'll go in the diffuse map and wrap it in a spline curve. So spline curve, think of it as a color correction of the texture. Might look a little bit complex, but basically if we put a point in the middle and pull it up, we'll get nice brightness of the diffuse map and the material itself. This is the effect I wanted to get. Now I'll select the columns and apply this metal brass material I have chosen, and I'll also apply it to the railing and the framing of the windows. Let's see, now we have to apply some materials to the environment, like sand to the desert and gravel to the yard. If we take a closer look, again, I need to adjust a little bit of the repetition of their textures. It's really easy because one texture controls all of the repetitions in the material. I'll continue adding the rest of the materials to the rest of the objects we have in white, and yeah, it's starting to shape up, I would say. Let's add some geometric helpers now. I'll start with scatter. Scatter is a tool that helps us distribute one or a few guests or assets to selection to a big surface. As we can see, we added it to the desert object. We applied it to the desert object, and now we'll look for a few desert-like assets that will be suitable to populating this huge surface we have behind our house. I'll put a few rocks, maybe a few desert-like plants. Not only these, maybe a few trees. I'll try to find ones which are suitable for more dry climate, and some bushes as well. Why not the cactus as well? Actually, I'll put these behind the house so they don't mess too much with our scene. And I'll select the ones I need, basically all of them. And when I select the scatter, I'll add this selection as guests. We can see all of them added to our scatter object. And we also have a probability settings for each one of them. Those will need to be adjusted, but in order to do that, I'll turn on the scatter viewer. This is a button we have in the toolbar, but actually it's more of a tray overlays. In the overlays tray, we can turn on the scatter viewport preview, which is the right place to show how our scatter looks like. Currently, all the guests are looking like dummy boxes in order to have our viewport not too heavy. We can adjust the instances count to get all this much more dense, because we want a lot more small grasses and stones. I'll turn on the normal alignment to 1 in order to get them vertically straight. But now the trees, because they have probability of 1, they are dominating, as well as the big plants. I'll turn down their probability, and we can see that actually we now have much more rocks and small grasses than trees, which is what we want to achieve. I'll also assign some random rotation. And by default, we have the preserve scaling turned on, which means that whatever scale our guests are, this will be their scale in the scatter. If we make, for example, our cactus a little bit bigger, we'll see it bigger in the scatter object as well. Now that it's bigger, it's again dominating, so I'll lower its probability as well. And I'm happy with the preview of the scatter currently. We have a nice distribution. I'll render this to see how it looks like. And I would say it looks kind of deserty. Of course, we can play a little more with the scattering and distribution, but I'm happy for now. I'll turn off the viewport preview in order to get our viewport lighter. Another geometric helper I like is the displacement. When we push the button, we see it appears in our asset editors, and it's automatically assigned to the object we had selected. I'll rename it in order to have a better organization. I'll turn off the scatter desert by clicking on its icon, so we can see better the displacement. Currently, there is nothing we can see because the displacement needs a black and white or grayscale mapping. I'll choose a nice grayscale texture, which to use for displacement, and I'll increase the amount of displacement. And now we can see how actually it deforms the geometry deforming it in a really, it adds a lot of detail to the surface. Of course, we'll need to adjust this a little bit. This also, actually, I'll use the texture from the sand, and I'll add it to the, instead of this grayscale texture I used, I'll use the one we have from the material, and I'll lower the amount and shift it to -5, which is minus the half usually of the amount, to get it right. Also, keep continuity in order not to have any gaps appear if there is too much of a geometric distortion. I like it the way it's shaping up, but I think I'll lower the repetition even more in order to have actually bigger, I would say, bumps in our desert. And you can see we got really a nice detail to our terrain. Not only this large terrain geometric differences, but this. I've applied the same thing to the gravel. As you can see, I've applied displacement to the gravel, used the gravel texture as a displacement map on a different displacement helper, and applied to the gravel surface, and we have this result. So I think now it's time to add some furniture and life to our scene. I'll start by adding some lamps. First, the exterior ones. Here and there, of course, they stick to the surfaces right away when we use them from the Cosmos browser, but they need some adjustments in their orientation sometimes, and I don't like the scaling. I would like, even though the scale is correct for this lamp as it's from the manufacturer, I would like to have it bigger. And I'll multiply it in a few times, in a few places around our elevation. Again, I'll fix the rotation a little bit, and I'll get a nice exterior lighting for our house. One great thing from the Cosmos assets is actually, especially for lamps, when we put a lamp, we get control over its intensity. Really easy to control it and to actually light up our scene without the need of artificial lights. Now I'll continue with the interior. I have hidden the ceiling so we have a better access to the interior, and I'll put some nice wall washing lights, and I'll increase their intensity. We can see this in the interactive render, that they're beginning to light up our interior nicely. And of course, some furniture, exterior and interior ones. Let's put the kitchen and some cupboards around it. And I'll speed up this part in order to have all the scene populated without wasting too much of your time. So as you can see, it's really easy to find the furniture we need, either by searching for it or by using categories in the Cosmos library. I hope you're not getting nauseous from a lot of movement in the viewport, but there are a lot of details that could be added to our scene. So you see our interior is beginning to shape up. What we need is some outdoor furniture, some more outdoor lights. I really like those for the steps. I think they're actually movable. You can move them around in your yard. Again, I'll scale them up a little bit. And why not some terrace furniture, some more to have our inhabitants to enjoy this nice terrace. And we have a nice dog to bring some life to our project. Some grass islands inside and out. I really like about this house design that we can stick those trees through the roof of those through those holes. Again, we have a lot of nice cars. I think this SUV is really suitable for this project, and a nice motorbike. And I'll use this asset to have this guy working on the bike, or maybe helping his grandson or son to tie his shoe. But actually, I like this guy that because if you rotate him the right way, it looks like he's working on the bike if we don't see the boy from the side where we are looking at. And this will definitely bring some story to our image, which is always good for the viewer. Then some more desert plants, like bushes, and here I'll leave this rendering for a little better quality and soft stop the renderer at some point. I'll just go on and open actually a version of this project that I've added some more detail. Basically, you can see it's pretty much the same. I've added the fence in the back, some more bushes in the back, and a few more details to our scene, and tweaked the composition, I think, a little, and added some trees behind our camera, which are throwing this nice soft shadow in front of us, which is shaping up the composition. Now we have this image, and we can play around with our settings. First, I like to put the denoiser to NVIDIA AI. It is the faster denoiser, especially for tests. It's really good. The exposure, I'll lower the exposure value because it looks a little bit dark currently. Lowering it will make the image brighter, and I'll also increase the render output, the resolution, to have a bigger image and better quality, better resolution. And we'll start the production render. As you can see, it starts building the light cache, which looks good in terms of exposure. I like the way it's looking, and immediately after the first pass is done, the first render pass is done, as we are on progressive rendering, the image starts to clean up thanks to the denoiser. It's looking a little blotchy for now, but we can stop it at this point. In order to add some environment, it would be great if we add an aerial perspective, which is like fog. Basically, it's the perspective of the air, especially when you have big spaces like this one. The air always has dust in it, which helps the perspective. Currently, it's too dusty, I would say, and the dust is really high. I'll lower the dust distribution to 30 meters in our case, and to make the visibility range shorter, so you can see how the desert and the mountain in the back fades in our scene, and gives a better feeling of space. I'll turn off the filmic tone up in order to show you these nice filters we have, which are presets. They're actually ready-made presets with ready color corrections, and I'll choose this muted elegance for our image. I'll delete the filmic I have put before that, and also I'll add a vignetting adjustment to get those soft darkening in the edges, which again give depth to our composition. Another post-production I like is to lower the blur and increase the sharpness of our image. Always brings up a lot of detail. And turning on the lens effects. By just enabling them, we can see where we have light, we get some glow there. Also, chromatic aberration is actually a defect we get from photography, but we use it as an effect because it makes our image just a little more like a photograph. Actually, photographers hate this effect, but yeah, as I said, it helps looking at our image as a photograph. Finally, we can save it from the Save button, choose name and nice format for our image, and save the result of our work. If we're happy with an image, we can continue to render an animation. This will the most useful way to do this is outside of SketchUp, because SketchUp has some animation properties, but I prefer to do it in Envision. First, I'll export the V-Ray scene from the extensions menu. And once we have this V-Ray scene contains all the assets and the geometric data and even the light data we have from our scene. I'll import it into Envision. I've started Envision and started a new project, and we'll import this V-Ray scene data we have just exported from SketchUp. And once imported, I'll move around the viewport, and you can see that basically everything we have created in SketchUp is here, except for the scatters. The scatters are not read for now from Envision, but we can easily add those here. The first thing to do, I'll create a camera similar to our to the ones we had in SketchUp. I'll turn on the filmic tone map and bloom effects, just like we did in SketchUp, to get some nice post-production on our image. And as you can see, all the assets and the lighting are the same that we just had. We have all the furniture inside, all the lights inside. I'll adjust a little better the composition. We have automatic vertical shift here, which is really important for architectural renderings. I always turn it on, and we can lock the camera so we don't move it around without if we don't want to mess it up. We have again the clouds, which I'll turn on. We have the same density and variety of them, and we have aerial perspective as well. It's called haze here, but basically it's quite the same as the one we had in V-Ray. I'll input almost the same values, and finally we need some scatters. We can create a scatter and add, just like we added guests to it, we can add some assets from the Cosmos library, which we have here in Envision. But we could also use ready presets. I'll delete this one, and we'll just use a preset I have here in Cosmos library, and just drag and drop it to the surface we want it applied to, and we can see it taking effect. I'll basically just add all the presets of a desert, the desert prom we just written, and it turned up great, I think. I'll switch to a house I have already created in Envision to show you some more of what we are able to do here. So yeah, as you can see, we can freely roam around our project in real time. This is all rendering in real time. We can explore any place we like. We can add more cameras or more viewpoints, or we can even add moving people. I'll create a path here, which is leading inside the house. I've already created one actually. And we'll create an anima crowd simulation. I'll pick up the path I've just created, the path I created before that actually, and generate right away. This will generate 5 actors on a random on our path. As you can see, they have suits on and are just 5 of them, and this very elegant lady. I don't think they're suitable in our case, but nonetheless, they're moving really naturally around. So I'll remove those office people I have, and add some people that are from the Cosmos library that are animated and are more suitable for our house. I'll just browse through them and regenerate. As I said, currently I have 5 actors. Yeah, those I think are better. This guy kind of suits better to our scenario, and those 2 ladies walking to the backyard. Next, we can, I'll hide the spline so I don't see it that much in the viewport. Next, I'll add few environment variations. Here we can actually adjust different sun scenarios, sunlight scenarios, different environment variations, as it says. So I'll get one which is day scenario and one which is sunrise scenario. So for the sunrise scenario, I'll lower the sun, put it in a different place somewhere, choose a nice lighting, which, as you can see, we can move around horizontally and vertically, just like in V-Ray for SketchUp, and find a nice place where we want the sunrise to begin. I'll save this as sunrise and go to the day scenario. I'll turn off the cloud casting shadows, and we'll put the sunrise in the beginning of our timeline for 1 second. Then we'll have like a 5-second transition, and you can see we kind of have like this time lapse from sunrise to day, while our people are moving at normal speed, which is not possible in the real world to have this kind of time lapse, but it's a nice effect. We can see how our sun can light differently our project. Another thing we can animate as well is our camera. I'll put the one we have currently in the beginning of our timeline, and I'll decide for how long we want to have it for the whole timeline. And we can put these keyframes you see in yellow. These are the camera keyframes. So if I move around and place the camera somewhere else, this will be automatically written as a keyframe for 7 for the timeline, for this timeline. I'll delete the keyframe in the middle, and we'll have just the beginning keyframe and the end keyframe. And now we have this nice camera animation combined with time lapse of the sun and our people moving around. All this can be extended as much as we want. I'll make it 15 seconds long. Just drag these sliders across the timeline, and you can see how easy and intuitive an animation can be in Envision. We have brought life to our image. We have brought different sun scenarios, and we can finally render either still image or a sequence. We have a few settings here that we need to adjust, but mostly the defaults work well. We can also export channels if we need some further post-production. And we can choose what file format we want this sequence to be written on. And finally, we can start the render and see the final result of our animation.
Well, thank you, Yanni. That was fantastic. I learned a ton. That's some really cool stuff in there. I love how easy it is, how you showed how to change it from the sun position and the camera moves. And I was impressed that the anima people walk down the stairs too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was impressive for me when I tested it for the
Yeah.
first time.
So we've had some
Yeah.
questions come in. We're going to start our live Q&A right now. Yeah, let's dive in. What do we have here? We'll just read them on the screen when they pop up.
All right.
First question, do I need V-Ray to use Envision?
No, actually, you don't need V-Ray. What Envision needs is a V-Ray scene file to be fed, or now it could be even other file formats could be imported in it, like FBX. So it's not necessary to have V-Ray, but it's always better because it's part of the workflow. Basically, whatever you do in SketchUp or in whatever your design software is, and you start doing with V-Ray, you can continue in Envision.
Okay, we have another question here about Envision. Is Envision available for other software besides SketchUp?
Envision actually is a standalone software. So this means that it's not a plugin. V-Ray is a plugin. So V-Ray is working inside the software you're using to design your project. Envision is a standalone. So basically, it just needs a geometric data to be fed, as I mentioned, V-Ray scene or FBX or other file formats, and you can work from
Okay.
there on.
And do we have other questions today?
I don't see any in the
here's
chat.
one down below here. Sorry, I've got something blocking my question. Where can I learn V-Ray? Are there training courses?
There is a nice V-Ray Academy we have. You can check the chaos.com website, and there is training there. Our colleagues have made the academy like a game with rewards. You gain up levels as you learn all our products, and V-Ray, of course. This is one way of doing it. Also, there are some trainers out there, but I do recommend the V-Ray Academy on our website.
Cool. Yeah, I think gamifying software or training software really helps you learn it. Any other questions today? Nope, doesn't look like it. All right, I think we can wrap up. Oh, we do have one. Will there be a recording of this webinar? Yes. We will have this archived up on YouTube, I know for sure. Possibly Facebook. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I believe it will be there. We'll find out later. We'll link it at least. So, all right. Well, thank you again, Janne, for sharing your insights and your workflow. And thank you to everyone who joined us live today. We really appreciate your time and energy. If you think of any questions later or need help with anything that we talked about today, you can always reach out through the Tool Farm website or email us at sales@toolfarm.com. Until next time, I'm Michelle Terpstra, and have a great day and happy creating. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.